Hi and welcome to Dirtbike's Dual Sports Series. Today we have a bike that doesn't get the credit it truly deserves. This is the Honda CRF300L. Purists might look at this with indifference, but in many ways it's one of the most important dual sport bikes on the market. Right now, the off-road world really doesn't need another $13,000 350. The Honda CRF300L is a sophisticated modern bike with electric start, EFI, and a double overhead cam 4-valve motor. The punchline is that it sells for around $5,500. It was designed with price in mind right from the start. The assembly is performed at Honda's plant in Thailand. It first appeared as a CRF300L back in 2013. Then it got a major update in 2021. The stroke was increased by 8mm to arrive at 286 cc's. It got new camshafts, and both the airbox and the exhaust were redesigned. The clutch was redesigned as well, with a feature that Honda calls slip assist. This acts like a slipper clutch to reduce engine braking and also uses engine torque for kind of a power-assisted clutch pull. The CRF300L has a 6-speed gearbox with 6th acting as a very tall overdrive. When you just walk around the bike, you don't get the impression that Honda cut corners anywhere. The finish is outstanding and all the parts look top-notch. The brakes are made by Nissin, the rims are aluminum, and you have to look really close to see the inexpensive stuff. The suspension is about as basic as possible. The rear has adjustable spring preload, and that's all. No reservoir, no clickers. The handlebar is 7/8" steel, and there are no handguards or frame guards. All that shows up in the weight. It comes in at 286 pounds without fuel. To get the obvious point out of the way, this isn't a race bike. The motor puts out about 23 horsepower. That's less than a modern 85cc two-stroke motocross bike in a package that weighs almost twice as much. So it doesn't mix well with dedicated off-road bikes of similar displacement. There's no way it's keeping up with your buddies on KTM 300s if they get angry. Once you get past all that, you discover that you can still go most of the same places and do most of the same things. We remember the 250 version of this bike from 2013, and trust us, the 300 is a big improvement, especially down low. On level, hard-packed ground, you can move along pretty well. If you're dealing with hills or sand, you have to shift like crazy. The bike's biggest limitation in stock form is tires. The stockers are too street-oriented. The one modification we made to our test bike was to replace the rubber with Dunlop EN91s, which are DOT-approved knobbies. With that out of the way, you can ride hard enough to discover the next shortcoming. That's suspension. The CRF300L is far too soft for off-road riding with a full-sized adult. Small riders in the range of 120 pounds are more appropriate, but even they would benefit from more damping. Without any adjustability whatsoever, the bike is bouncy, for lack of a better word. If there are no bumps on a smooth dirt road or on pavement, the ride is plush, but you get a great deal of fork dive. The front brake is excellent, which makes the fork seem even softer. Suspension improvement does get expensive fast. Racetech sells the GS3 shock for around $850. Up front, you might be able to get away with a stiffer spring, there's only one in the Honda, and thicker oil. But beyond that, it's easy to spend $1,000 in a hurry. Exhaust systems are expensive too. Expect to pay around $600 for something like a Yoshimura slip-on. In order to get the most from that, you would also need a fuel modifier like a Dynojet Power Commander, which is another $300. All that defeats the purpose of this bike. It's all about the price, remember? It's hard to make the CRF300L into something it's not. The Honda is a perfect means to allow a spouse or a new rider to join the ride. Adventures are always better when they're shared, and the CRF tears down the barriers that keep potential riders at home. It's comfortable, and it's easy to ride. Is it a bike that an experienced rider should consider? Probably not. The Honda is where you go to get that experience. Once you have it, you might be ready to move on. Either way, we know the Honda has outstanding resale value. We have more dual sport videos coming, so you might want to subscribe. You can also find us on the newsstand, dirtbikemagazine.com, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We're everywhere. Thanks for watching.